So we're here today in the heart of New York City with Pilar Madrigal. She's the Director of International Affairs for CINDE. CINDE is really one of the most successful groups in terms of drawing an investment, promoting a country. So I guess the question I want to ask you is, what's your secret?
Well, first of all, thank you, Kirk, for coming and visit with us. Very proud to have you here. I quite frankly wouldn't say that we have a secret. I believe that what makes us different is our level of commitment to the attraction of foreign direct investment. Our organization, up from the president of the board to the rest of the 33 employees that we have, that's the size of our organization, are completely committed, understand fully the importance of our everyday job. And it's not only the attraction of foreign direct investment, it's also our persistence on the betterment of the investment climate. So our role is not only focused on bringing the company to Costa Rica, is focused on understanding fully what their needs are, quite frankly being very honest with them and telling them as objective as possible whether Costa Rica is in fact a fit to them. But most importantly, once they are there, continuing to work with them, continuing to work on a number of initiatives that have made companies stay in Costa Rica for 20, 21 years. We have success stories that date back to 1989 when our first medical device company set up in Costa Rica. It is true, we do everything that every other investment promotion does. We use every same tool. We cold call, we send letters, we visit companies. But quite frankly, what sells the most is the peer-to-peer interaction within industry leaders. I've always said that good news don't travel. Bad news travel very fast. Mm-hmm. And so you will continue to hear about companies moving to Costa Rica, but you will seldomly hear about one that leaves. And that's because of our commitment to continue to support them. I think that is the secret of our success.
Very interesting. How much of it is a factor that you're privately, you're a nonprofit, but you're driven from the private industry versus public funding and kind of the issues that might go along with that?
I believe it definitely is sort of an advantage. It is important to note that we were declared of public interest since 1984. We were created in 1982. We were declared of public interest since 1984. And what does that mean? That means that the government recognizes the importance of our organization and works with us to achieve the goals of economic development. The difference, I believe, is that there is I would say, a very low turnover. The goals that we set, even though as an organization, as a private organization, we have a business mind, we have specific goals that we need to achieve as a private organization in terms of employment, in terms of amount of foreign direct investment. We gear every activity as a private organization. We have a long-term goal. And it's constant.
One of the questions that I hear a lot, to be honest with you, is there's a lot of major global players that continue to look at Costa Rica for opening up captive organizations or even for major delivery centers for outsourcing nearshore services. The question I always hear, though, is, will I have enough human capital to support and I'm sure this doesn't surprise you. So back to what you said earlier about being candid, how do you respond to that question if somebody says, we absolutely love your country and we'd love to hire 800 to 1,000 people over the next 2 years?
We are clear with them when they give us their numbers. if in terms of the level of specialization of their human resource, we let them know specifically how many graduates we have and what are our projections. And we work with them in order to ensure that by time X they will have that. For example, just very recently, there's a couple of companies that announced a huge investment in Costa Rica. And what we did with them finally was to involve the National Training Institute, which is a government-sponsored organization that subsidizes part of the training, to work with that company to develop that program specifically for them over a certain amount of months. So what we work with them is on the real expectations in relation to when can they hire that amount of people.
Okay.
If we don't have them now, because there's not that many, we know how many are coming from universities or are coming from vocational schools. If they need more, then we'll work with the National Training Institute and with other universities to develop that program specifically for them. Mm-hmm. Tailored developed programs with the institutions, with the vocational schools, with the National Training Institute, with the universities. And in that way, they will grow their operation little by little.
So what's the vision? What's the next step for CINDE over the next few years? What is the group aspiring to in terms of your strategic goals?
Continuing to be the best, absolutely. Continuing to seek excellence. I have here to give a lot of credit to our directors and to our current director, executive director. She is somebody that seeks excellence on every single step of the way.
Her name was?
Gabriela Joet, absolutely. And if you do have a chance, is worth also going down to Costa Rica. I invite you to go and visit with our organizations and visit with her. We revise our strategy every year. We revise the sectors that we're after. We see what are results, what were our roadblocks, how can we overcome them, and quite frankly, our goal is to continue to have vision, to understand where economic development is going, what sectors are leading, and how can we continue to improve Costa Rica's business climate.
Well, it's wonderful to see you face to face finally.
Thank you very much.
We're continue to look to CINDE for its leadership in the region. I think you set a very important example for so many other direct investment groups, so we really appreciate that.
Thank you, Kirk. Thank you for being with me today.
All right. Thanks again.